Lots of people come to look at Acas from around the world, from South Africa, from European acquisition states, from Australia, because it is quite unique. Independent, in fact fiercely independent and impartial by statute. So we're independent of politicians, political parties, trade unions and employers, and that impartiality and independence means that we're able to deal with quite difficult issues from both sides of industry very well.
Can you give us an example of the kind of difficult issues that you deal with?
Well, you probably recall a few months ago we had a problem with a petrol company, Ineos, Grangemouth. Huge complication. Acas was able to bring the parties together, calmly, sensitively talk and listen and provide a solution to what was a very difficult and probably intractable problem for the whole of the country. But that's a daily job for us. We do an enormous number of those every year. We also deal with individual cases, mediation. We run a fantastically good helpline. It takes over 1 million calls a year from employers and employees. Free. People call up for advice and guidance on problems they have at work. And we provide training facilities, education facilities for employers and employees and trade unions.
You've been established for roughly 100 years now.
Acas itself has been established by acts, by statutes, about the mid-70s, but there's been forerunners of Acas in terms of certain industry organisations for settling arbitrations and conciliations. Ironically, probably started in the First World War in terms of maintaining essential services, was then developed again into the Second World War, and that someone had the idea quite sensibly in the early 70s that what was needed was an institution that could command impartiality, that could command independence, that could deal with disputes across the range, and whose advice and guidance was sought, and because of its position in society was incredibly well respected, and we've maintained that, and we defend our impartiality and independence fiercely.
Can you give us an example of a day in your life as the Acas chair?
No one day is the same, which is again a wonderful arrangement. I'm not known for my technological capacity or capability, so no one day is the same. I do a great deal of travelling around, talking, as I'm here at the University of Glamorgan, delighted to be here. I meet employers, trade unions, other organisations within the field of employment relations, politicians of all political hues and characters, both here in Wales, in Scotland and in England as well, and also in the Northern Ireland. So our reach is quite broad. And the day can be anything from travelling to meeting people to talking about employment relations, what Acas does, what it sounds like, what will be the future. People incessantly ask myself about, can I crystal ball gaze, will there be further disputes in the public sector or the private sector? What will be the big issues concerning pay, etc. I think we're in a time of considerable change, as we always are. But for employment relations, it's quite a significant and some would say a monumental change in the shape of our employment relations structures. With a new bill going through Parliament, we will have new types of what they call alternative dispute resolution arrangements. And the basic premise will be to try and push disputes back to the workplace,
right,
so that they're settled in the workplace rather than through courts of law.
And what's the key to settling in the workplace?
Good listening skills.
Right,
for all parties.
So Acas would say that the key to good conflict resolution would be good listening skills, is that
Good
right?
listening skills and calmly looking at the situation and on occasion seeing the problem through the other individual's eyes or the other group's eyes. One of Acas's great skill built over 35 years is the ability to listen, to pick out the meat of an argument, to try and find a resolution that bring the parties together, when on occasions the parties can be quite far apart. But this particular change we're going through now is very much akin to the Acas philosophy, which is prevention's better than cure. If we're able to settle a baggage handler's strike in Gatwick, or in Cardiff, or in any other airport, that means people can go about their business, go on holiday, etc., etc. So we save the economy an enormous amount of money. If we're able to prevent an employer and an employee finding their way at an employment tribunal, then that saves both the employee time, energy, psychological damage. No one can see going to an employment tribunal as a big issue. From the employer's point of view, it's costly for them. They lose an employee. They have all the complications with that. It's reputational risk. So it's a huge opportunity to do it. But they're good skills to have as conciliators. And one of the reasons why Acas has been so successful and why the people look at us from all around the world is because we have those conciliatory skills. It doesn't mean that we can't be on occasions forceful. We're not, mum and apple pie, far from it. We've been in the rugged end of the market for a long time, and we deal with some very, very difficult issues, some quite intractable issues. But we get there. And our success rates, second to none.
For more information about the University of Glamorgan's Business School, visit www.glam.ac.uk/bus.